how foreigners roll. And it just made me think about, like, I was listening to this talk by this guy named Indigenous One. Now, he's not Muslim or whatever the case may be, but you can get Jews from anybody when you really listen, especially elders. And one of the things he was saying about loving our time, loving our business, loving each other as a people, as a whole. And it made me think, like, I'll be looking at the foreigners, like the Africans, or I look at the Arabs and the Pakistanis and stuff like that, how they move, like how they don't let each other suffer. And what I mean by that is like, we got this business right here, like you got this whole store right here, right? You got this thing, Search and Rescue, and you've been doing it for a minute. And I look around, I see the vision, I see the dream, I see what's going on, but I don't see us. I don't see nobody here. Like, and I'm sure there's people that support you. So I don't want nobody saying, oh man, we look out for the brother, we support the brother, whatever, right? I don't want nobody to like think that I'm dissing them in some way. And I'm looking at the situation like, why is not people supporting one another? Why we don't have the same concern? We're not patient with one another. Like, and let me get to what I'm trying to say. Like, when you ask me, you say, all right, look, man, you try to explain to me what you're trying to do, your vision. And you say, all right, well, I come down to the store 2-3 days a week because I need to run around and stuff like that. I'll try to compensate you for your time, whatever the case may be. The first thing that comes to my mind isn't the money. The first thing that comes to my mind, all right, what's the brother's vision and how do I fit into that vision? So, but people don't think like that. People are not thinking like, all right, well, let me support this brand, or let me get behind the brother. But we don't do that. But we're going to be patient with other people's brand. We'll be patient with other people's food and other people's store and other people's this and that. And we never like be patient with each other. Like you will see brothers from Africa, they come over and they patient with each other, the taxi driver. They're patient with each other's business. They're patient with uniting and buying property together. They're patient upon that. They'll suffer, they'll struggle, they'll unite, they'll keep each other floating just so to see a vision at the end, right? But I'm looking around and I'm like, well, Dad, where's everybody at? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's anybody investing in the brother's time? You know what I'm saying? Or investing in the brother's know-how or his knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't be down at the store, where's the economic backup? Where's the social backup? You understand what I'm saying? So people don't have any concern because they don't see your survival as theirs, or vice versa, right? But the foreigners, the Africans, and all of them, I heard them say this. They see each other's survival as the survival as a whole. So, like, you don't see a poor Jew. You won't see a Jew out on the street because the other Jew's not going to let that happen. If they see him falling, they all come together and put money underneath him and put time underneath him and put him back on the horse, just like that. But we're so divided in the way that we think and feel that before we help one another, we'll say, oh, that's, man, ain't got no problem. That's a Christian. It don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That he Muslim, or he's not this, or he's not that. Instead of looking at the survival of a whole, is your survival just the same? So we don't see it like that. So I don't have that love and concern for your survival because I don't think like that. But everybody else does, and you see that it works. I don't have to make this up because you can look around and see the Mexicans, the Asians. You can look around and you can see these people and that people. You can look around and see that it works. You can look around and literally see sticking together works. Okay? You go to Chinatown, sticking together economically and socially works. You go to a Mexican neighborhood, you can see sticking together economically and socially works. You go anywhere and you'll find those same people. When I was in Michigan, and I always bring this as an example, the Arabs that were there, you think they all was Sunni? You think they all was Muslim? No, they was not. But you couldn't tell that when it came down to the neighborhood surviving, when it came down to the businesses surviving, when it came down to the school surviving, when it came down to the neighborhood being clean, when it came down to the neighborhood being policed. You did not see any difference. They didn't make a difference when it came down to those basic fundamental life needs. So why is it that now We want to make it as if the survival of a whole is important. Okay? So that's my whole thing. I think that search and rescue is a great idea, and I think that people should get behind it. If you can't get behind it economically, at least get behind it by letting people know where it's at, or put it on your Facebook, on your time, and things like that. That's what I think. I think that we have to see things as come talk to the people and find out their vision and see if that's a vision that you would love to get behind. So that's just my point. And we got to be patient with one another's visions. I see the brother's vision. Obviously, I have my own side views and my own side reasons why I will get behind the brother for my own reasons outside of also agreeing with his vision. I have my own concepts and visions of why I'm getting behind the brother. Obviously, that's just reality for everybody. But at the end of the day, no matter what the reason is, we should get behind each other based upon economics and social connection, I believe. But like I said, and I'll tell you this story one time when I was in Atlanta. So I'm down in Atlanta, and I made this decision in my own head for just researching Islam and looking at fiqh and and just by looking at life in general, like places I've been in the world, overseas, here in America, and I watched a group of people who are the same people stick together economically and socially, like in Egypt. The Christians and Muslims stick together when it comes to Egypt. When it comes to money and the society, they stick together. They don't make a difference when it comes to that. They don't. They stick together. They ride together when it comes to that. And I'm just seeing that throughout my life. And then looking at Medina, how that worked with the Jews with the crops, and how the Prophet made the deals with them, and how you had the non-Muslims were neighbors to the Prophet ﷺ. They had to work as an organism to make that work. The Prophet wasn't oppressive, so it wasn't like, just took all their money and suppressed them people and they couldn't move around, they had no say-so, or they had no ability to make money or to bring any benefit to that society in Medina. So they had to be some type of organism where people were working together. So it made me think. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I come from a group of people, which the indigenous people of America, the Aboriginal people, who they call African American, are the second or third class citizens of the country, without a shadow of a doubt. So the resources, we don't have much. We don't have many businesses of our own. I think it's like $94 trillion of wealth in America, private wealth, and we only own 2% of it. And we're tens of millions of us, anywhere from 60 to 80 million of us live on this continent of the United States. They're part of America. So it made me think, is it permissible at this point, and does it go against Wallah wa Bara, for me to give my wealth to an indigenous person, Muslim or not? Because I saw that keeping him in the neighborhood or giving him my wealth makes the money flow where I live. And it doesn't leave where I live, meaning he hires and fires the people in the neighborhood, the youth. This business is open and it keeps taxes, whatever, flowing through the community, where you're able now to have more policing. You're able now to have all these different benefits, like the schools are now better because you're keeping businesses in the neighborhood. That's my way of thinking. My kids live here. My family lives here. So my way of thinking was upholding the good and forbidding the evil, or the issue of the harms and benefits of a situation. Okay? And a situation came up where there was two types of business. There was a tailor or a person that, hem my pants or whatever. This indigenous guy. He had one. And then there was another cleaners. The people were Indian or Pakistani. And they were Muslim. And the Aboriginal guy or indigenous guy was not a Muslim, right? So I'm like, all right. So I was going to the Aboriginal guy, give him my money, Muslim or not. So I had this conversation in a group, and people wanted to know about was this against Wallah wa Bara? I told them how. But my Wallah, my Bara in this situation had nothing to do with Aqidah, had nothing to do with religion. It was based upon the things I said just a couple minutes ago, just previously, about keeping the money in the community and keeping my neighborhood where I live economically sound and keeping the businesses there. In my mind, that's how I was thinking.